Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today spawning on the west side of the map, playing in blue, we have got the Mista, playing as the Malians. And his opponent today on the east side of the map, playing in red, we've got puppypaw playing as the Rus. Welcome everyone to this Age of Empires 4 casted game on the map Basin, using the Empire Wars game mode. That's the mode for today, and well, this is a match I believe from EGC TV's tournament Empires Wars, and check them out. EGC TV, a fantastic organization for this game. They are pretty much live on Twitch every Saturday, Sunday, pretty much at 15 GMT. So certainly worth checking them out. So looking at the civilization matchup, it's an interesting one. The Rus versus the Malians. Two very strong civilizations. It's going to be the Golden Gate for the Rus. No real surprises there. I think generally, you know, with the Kremlin, it's more of a standard game mode landmark because, of course, with the Empire Wars game mode, you actually start off with a wooden fortress, which is very, very strong, of course. And it means that the Kremlin has less of a impact. The Kremlin would act as a wooden fortress itself, but the Golden Gate, very, very nice for this game mode. Very popular so far, and it's going to be the Mansa Quarry for the Malians. A really nice landmark for the Malians. Now, this is an interesting civilization matchup because both civilizations do have a lot of potential in the feudal age. And something that's very strong about both civilizations, in particular the Rus, is their economy, right? I mean, we could pretty much say the same about the Malians. Let's talk about it a little bit more. So, of course, they start off with a wooden fortress, which actually drops out 20% more wood to the lumber camp, which is very strong. The bounty, obviously very powerful for the Rus, and they got wheelbarrow early as well, nice and early. It's very typical for the Rus, and it's going to be going for a second town centre build, as he does have 4 villages on stone. And he's going to go for the ball play in the middle of the map as well. So, things are starting very quickly on the Empires Wars game mode. Of course, you start off with more villages. But I have to say, the Malians are... I think they're very strong. The reason why I say that is because you can get the cow boom very nice and early. As you can see, already 2 cattle ranches already filled up. And, well, I guess the Mista, staying true to his name, his profession rather. He's a farmer in real life, so he's going to be farming away on that food income. And, I mean, it's an interesting civilization matchup because both civilizations could be very strong in the feudal age. The Rus known for it because, of course, they have a very strong unit, the standard knight. One of 2 civilizations in Age of Empires 4 to actually get a knight in the feudal age. But the Malians, they've got some perfect counters. They've got the Donsos available to them, which is a unit that's akin to the spearmen, but can actually throw their spear and get some good hits on cavalry. As you can see, a couple of Donsos circling on the north. And, I mean, a second town center spot could be really nice here on the deer pack and gold for puppypaw. We shall see what he decides to do now. Could actually use the Golden Gate to get the wood that he needs, if he gets enough tickets for it. And so it's such a really nice landmark to get the second town center quickly for the Rus. Donso is just chipping away a little bit, but he's not going to achieve all that much, but because the villagers are protected with that wooden fortress and the hunting cabin for the boar meat to be deposited off. Now, just to let you guys know, I am on 1080p, I'm afraid. As you know, recently upscaled my my gear up to 4K kind of streaming and recording, but unfortunately that PC actually died. Like it just stopped working at one point. It wasn't very old, but I've sent it back to the manufacturer, so hopefully they'll bring it back fixed and working once again. But yeah, unfortunately it means that the next couple of videos might be in 1080p. If you watched my last video, that was in 1080p. But you know, it is what it is. Hopefully we'll get that 4K goodness back again shortly and running. A couple of Donsos just going to have to protect that gold vein, but a couple of spearmen for the Rus and puppypaw. A couple of archers as well, picking them apart. Got to be careful here, Mista, to protect that gold vein as best as he can. And he's dropping down a lot of production buildings, so it's going to be a heavy feudal age, I think, for both players at this point. But behind this, puppypaw will get that second town center. Should mean his village count should rise quite nicely, and it does mean that Mista might need to escalate things in terms of military. Having said that, though, I mean, whilst puppypaw will have a second town center, Mista's economy is not going to be too far behind, especially with that. I mean, I think at this stage, I mean, Mista probably has a better economy, right? It is true that the Rus have all the upgrades, yeah, pretty much all the eco upgrades at this point, which is incredibly strong. But, you know, the cow boom is looking good. He's getting passive gold income from the Mansa Quarry and also the pit mines. So Mista's not in a bad spot, but there will become a time in this game where the Rus, the villager count, will start to escalate quite nicely, build up a strong economy. As things go now, I think if it's going to be a race to the castle age, it feels like the Malians should get there a little bit quicker. Let's switch over to the income per minute, 400 food per minute. It's pretty neck and neck for both sides, but I think it could come down to who takes better engagements in terms of military fights, and we'll see. But, you know, obviously, second town set is going to be nice for puppypaw. Just takes a bit of time. Look at the cow boom. Holy moly, it's getting online very quickly. Double mill cow boom. And a Grand Fulani coral being deposited here or built up here. Be so strong for the Malians. He is now getting double broad axe, so we'll be catching up on those eco upgrades. Both players just sort of standing off for now. Alright, deer meat being brought back for the Rus. Nice bit of food income. See, 1,300 food per minute, courtesy of the boar and the deer pack. So early on, puppypaw has a great food economy. I have to say though, the Mista with the cow boom in the mid-castle age will have a great economy himself in terms of food. And this is passive generation, right? Like, once the boar meat runs out, once the deer pack runs out, you'll have to transition to farms here, puppypaw. And with little else happening right now, I'd just like to say a big thank you for everyone supporting the channel. Especially everyone who is new to the channel and coming back for more. I hope you guys enjoying the casted games. And apologies that it's not 4K today, but it will be again soon, I'm sure. And a big special shout out to all the channel members on YouTube who are supporting, going that little bit extra mile to help me keep on cracking out good casted games for you guys. And hopefully more will be coming soon, especially with the new DLC, the Sultan's Ascent, coming very soon, bringing you 6 new civilizations. Well, I should say 2 new civilizations and 4 variant civilizations. Let's pick up a nice archer there with the javelin throwers. And I think the reason why I like the Malians' position is because they've got a lot of good counter units, right? They've got the javelin throwers against the archers. They've got the Donsos against the knights. I think there's a reason why this is going to be an interesting matchup is because the Malians can just do this, right? They can get direct counter units. Javelin throwers and Donsos will counter pretty much what the Rus will go for often, which is the knights and archers. Having said that, when it gets into castle age, things can get quite spicy because the Rus might look to get some siege on the field with mangonels. That will deal with a very heavy kind of infantry army that the Malians tend to get. Having said that, well, the Malians can then transition into Sofa, and Sofa can be very strong. It does take some time to get there though. With free or passive food coming in, passive gold coming in, it shouldn't be too hard to transition, but this is a good engagement here for puppypaw, chasing down those javelin throwers with those knights, caught out of position slightly, but the Donsos are getting involved now. The Donsos could do great work against the knights. If the Mista can just take care of the knights, he should be in decent shape to defend against this. Has a couple of archers of his own here now, and mixing it up in terms of the armor composition. Now the Rus do have a stronger army. I would say they're probably neck and neck in economy based on the Malians' passive generation of resources, but it's a good fight for the Mista, holding it for now underneath the town centre. There's not too much that puppypaw can do about this. And I think generally at this point, it might be the case that the Malians and Mista thinking about going to that castle age, got plenty of gold coming in, plenty of food, and we can just see that switching of food, right? Now that the deer pack has run out, now that the boar has probably run out, it has indeed, you can just see that food income from the Mista, 1,300 food per minute versus the 800 food for the puppypaw playing as the Rus. See a big switch, and that's going to be a switch for the remainder of the game pretty much. You see another bit of an engagement, the knights tanking on the front lines, but the Donsos do get some good damage, especially if they throw their spears. Javelin throwers on the back line, trying to focus on those archers if they can, and Malians doing great work of picking off those miniature as they try and retreat. Puppypaw not really getting huge amounts of value, trying to just keep the Mista on his toes and keep him pumping out units. 10 villager lead for the Rus, but that doesn't tell you the whole story, of course, because of the cattle ranches, rather. About to say pastures, but they are cattle ranches. Just hanging out in the middle of the map, in the Mista, and I think, yeah, the Mista's thinking about that castle age. This is where things become interesting, because puppypaw has had to spend a lot of food onto those knights. These are very expensive units. It doesn't really seem like puppypaw is going to go to the next stage anytime soon. I'm going to say anytime soon, holy moly. Mista's going to use 18 villagers to get this landmark up. So he means business. That's going to give him a really nice power spike into that castle age. We'll be able to get the veterancy for his Donsos, veterancy for his javelin throwers, and I think this is where things become interesting about transitions, right? You can see the stable transition already here for the Mista, eyeing up the Sofa with imported armor, and that's going to be so strong to be able to snipe out mangonels potentially. Might need to invest it in some springalds himself, but with puppypaw so far away from that castle age, things become a bit dicey, right? He's had to go for a farming transition, which is a bit hard on his economy. Having said that, though, the Rus can get a large amount of wood very quickly, especially because of the wooden fortress, bolstering up the wood deposited by 20%. That's not a joke, it's pretty strong. As we see the pit mine being taken down, getting the houses, just trying to keep the army active as much as he can. Question is, well, where does he go from here? Now that his opponent is in the castle age, maybe looking to pick up some relics here, the Mista, potentially. We'll see how much he manages to pick up, or how many. Where he goes from there. The knights are going to ride away from that, for sure. Now, puppypaw needs to build up a standing army if he can. And then get to the castle age himself. But I think certainly the addition of Sofa is going to be super strong for the Malians. The question is, how does puppypaw address that? He could go for, you know, triple army composition, add in spearmen of his own. It feels like mangonels could be an option. But he will need to get to that castle age first. He's going to go up with a high trade house in a nice spot. Should get a decent amount of gold from there. Ooh, infantry numbers starting to build up though for the Mista. Does have a larger army, puppypaw, but it is a significantly weaker army considering it's in the you know, still in the feudal age. You now see the veterancy in for the Donsos, veterancy in for the javelin throwers alike, and looking to get those blacksmith upgrades as well. High trade house has been built, has 86 gold per minute coming in with that one. Alright, well, the army heading forward for the Mista, and it's going to head in with the Donsos to try and burn down that wooden fortress. And well, of course he will take that down, and this is where things become a bit sticky for puppypaw, because of course, now that he has gone to the next stage, leaves them a bit vulnerable. Had the high trade house in the front as well. Didn't really have many options where to put it. Both his wood lines not in idle locations. And it means that he can't really freely take that deer meat, which he probably would have wanted for that food income. Now puppypaw has to hold on. He needs to get the veterancy upgrades for his units. Veterancy coming in for the archers, getting blacksmith upgrades as well with wedge rivets. Now, there's a very heavy infantry army here for the Mista. And I wonder if there's going to be siege workshops coming out for puppypaw. He's going to go for the monastery first, maybe get some warrior monks, just to get a relic or two. We'll see what he manages to do. Right, he's going to hide out in the stealth forest. A couple of knights might just get picked apart. We'll see. Keeping a couple of units at home. That's pretty sensible. Well, there could be engagement here with the knights on the front half of the Rus. Javelin throws need to take out those archer numbers. There's a huge number of archers there for the Rus. I think it's an army that Mista probably can't fight. He's going to run away from the stealth forest. And that's a high value army there for the Rus. Lots of knights, lots of archers. Has to back away for now. Is going to get that wedge rivets upgrade. That's going to be all important. He might actually decide to turn and fight. Here come the reinforcements from the south. This could be a good engagement here, I think, for Mista in the end. As long as he takes out those knights, those archers will be very, very vulnerable to the javelin throws. Needs to keep the Donsos alive if he can, though. But fighting in the stealth forest, I'm not sure who that favors, but the knights need to back away from those Donsos because they are very dangerous. The javelin thrower is getting good DPS on those archers. Actually, numbers not looking great for puppypaw. I think this is a fight that really favors the Malians, especially those Donsos numbers looking good. They're alive and they're kicking, and with those Donsos numbers there, the knights can never really engage fully. They're engaging now, but the Donso is going to rip through those knights. Those are high value units. Sofa too, heading into the reinforcements of those Malian army. And well, it's a good cleanup, I think. I mean, there's a decent number of Donsos still alive, focusing on the knights. If the knights get taken down, they're going to get taken down quickly. There's loads of Donsos left. Javelin throws needs to focus on the archers. I think puppypaw has to get out of here. He lost a lot. He's down to 37 military now with the Mista, with the military lead. That's what he needed. He needed that fight because he is quite far behind on villager count. 20 villagers behind. But there is a couple of, well, there's siege. There's siege on the field. A couple of mangonels. At least one so far. And that could be dangerous. Warrior monk bringing a relic home. Well, we do see a relic already in play for puppypaw. Starting to build up an army. There's that second mangonel. This could be tricky for the Mista. The Mista has picked up one mangonel of his own and is starting to build up a large force though. A lot of it infantry. Now I like this. This is certainly what's needed. He needs some springalds to counter those mangonels. If he doesn't, it could create problems. Now, interestingly enough, as the game wears on, gold becomes an issue. There are 2 large gold veins in the middle of the basin. Probably favours puppypaw, if anything, in terms of locations, which is a bit rough for the mista. Might have to head forward with a keep at some point. Looks like both players are slowly but surely collecting some stone. But we'll see how much he manages to achieve with that. Two mangonels always threatening if they get pushed forward, but both players just holding off for now. Starting to wall up on the east side, so both players may be turtling up a little bit. Puppypaw got some palisades on the north. Needs to be careful about these villages though. There's no palisade walls, palisade gate rather, to get through if he is attacked in that side. Warrior monk accompanying the knights in the north. The mista getting a toll outpost just for that extra vision, setting a couple of soffer there to pick those apart, but those guys will go down. We hear another 2 relics being picked up by the mista, so we'll get 3 of the relics, which is actually very strong. Because of course, that gold income going to be rocketing high for the mista. Has a bit of a farming transition as well to spend that precious wood. But you can see that food income looking so good for the mista. 1,800 food per minute. The Rus aren't doing half as bad though. Not bad at all. Pretty much neck and neck actually at this point. Even invest in a spring on replacement in that toll outpost. Makes it stronger as well. Now let's just see the Golden Gate and what that's up to. Whether some tickets being bought. Or spent rather. Looks like he spent everything. In terms of tickets, used them all. Might see engagement soon because the mista's starting to head forward. He's actually edging towards that 200 population gap. Well, so is Puppypaw actually. Puppypaw, if anything, is a bit closer to it. I think Puppypaw's thinking about that Imperial Age. Take a look at the resources. I think he is thinking about it. Does he go with the Spaskaya Tower or the High Armory? That is the question. Ooh, okay, Puppypaw's trying to get a keep there. I'm not sure that's going to work. He's going to need his army. This could be a big engagement. Mista, sensing something is happening, sending his army forward. Does have 2 springolds. 2 springolds for the Rus as well. This could be devastating. In the south, not a lot's happening. Trying to burn that toll outpost down a little bit. In the north, not much is happening in terms of Puppypaw's side. Bit of an engagement there. Well, it's just the toll outpost being attacked. The villagers coming forward. Puppypaw's not going to notice until it's too late. Well, he's going to have to head back. Oh, he starts building it. Will he lose the keep? That's absolutely huge. I think Puppypaw needs to delete that. He's got to delete it, but he lost a lot of stone, I think. Puppypaw heading back with the villagers. The keep is being built up a little bit further behind. But the mista probably will see that. But he gets the keep up. He rushed it down with a lot of villagers. That's a lot of idle time though. His villagers could have been doing other things. The sacred site being taken in the south by the mista. Mista just holding on for now, not engaging just yet. But the High Armory, going to get the Imperial Age upgrades for Puppypaw. It's going to look strong. I think mista thinking about the Imperial Age himself. It certainly seems that way. There it is. It's going to be the Griat Bara for the Malians. I wonder whether mista actually attacks it. I think he could, yeah, he's going to go for it because he knows that Puppypaw just invested a lot of resources into the Imperial Age. So did he, to be fair, but he's at population cap. It does make sense for him to go forward and be a bit aggressive. He might actually just peel off a couple of horsemen, or Soppa I should say, to do some raiding. That's exactly what it does. Well, actually it's actually inventory he scales northwards, but we shall see because he needs to do some kind of damage, right? It feels like that. The Rus in the late Imperial Age can be a very, very bad force to deal with. Lots of villagers on stone. Maybe look to get another keep or 2. Oh, trying to burn his way through in the south. But lots of the focus in the middle for now, but looks like a bit of a raiding opportunity in the south, potentially. We shall see. He's going to raid on the front now. A lot of villages are going to go down. That's a problem for puppypaw. The mangonels do get there. A couple of shots off. 3 springals adding into the fight for the Rus. Siege ball is looking deadly here for the Rus. Needs to find an option here for the Mista to try and break this middle kind of stronghold for the Rus. He's getting more stone gathering. He's lost a lot of villagers though so far. 19 so far. Heading southwards. There's quite a few units. The Sofa need to get involved too, but this is a fight that the Malians should win. I mean, there's no real way with these numbers the puppypaw should come out on top. He's going to lose a lot here. It's a good engagement for the Mista. Not really engaging in the middle, just focusing on the south for now. And the Sofa do wrap around and picks up a lot of those units. Down to 65 military. This is 110, and this is where things actually become very, very good for the Malians. The population efficiency of having the passive generation of food and gold. Gets the sacred site on the north, puppypaw. 2 mangonels deploy. The Sofa going to try and break through a little bit. Oh, he's going to go for the north. Well, this is a problem for puppypaw. There's a lot of villagers here, and oh, this is bad. The Dons is going to rip through the palisade walls. These are fortified, but they break through now. He's going to make his way through at some point. Maybe? Mista? Go, go, go. He's attacking in the south as well, but there is army there for puppypaw. Going to secure that stone. But this is where things are problematic. The puppypaw has not noticed this. This is huge. A lot of villagers will go down here for the Mista. Well, by the Mista. He's going to kill a lot. And puppypaw is going to lose a lot of his economy. You see the villager kill count rising and rising and rising. The army heading that north position, but the villagers only started to retreat now. So many went down on that gold vein. He's lost 41 in total. That's a huge amount of the economy. And look at the villager count, pretty much neck and neck. That's actually, again, not telling you the full story because the Mista has that passive income coming in. Spears brace against the Sofa. The Sofa need to back off. A lot of them will lose their lives. Javelin throws, trying to focus on the spearmen as much as they can. Here come the elite Mustafadi warriors. They're in stealth. Now they engage from the back of that army, taking out those spearmen. That was a huge engagement there for the Mista, coming in with the stealth. We don't see that often, but we just saw it there. The Mustafadi warriors for the Malians is engaging in the north once again. When I said wars, they do get repaired and rebuilt, but and he sees himself kind of exposed in the middle. The keep did go down to rams. And the Mista in the south going to break through again with a couple of Sofa, or at least threaten to. With 107 military versus 69, and well, the economy looking better for the Mista. He looks strong in this situation. And he's got good control of the gold, right? We talked about how that's very, very key and very, very important. He's got good control of the gold just by sheer number of units, and I think puppypaw might struggle if he doesn't keep hold of some gold of his own. You can see the gold income is night and day between the two players. 600 gold per minute coming in for puppypaw. More than double that, almost triple that for the Mista. Does have a couple of Streltsy, but he's not going to be able to continue producing those. Those are very expensive units. Trying to get the keep on the south doesn't quite happen. All those villages are going to go down. The keep is not going to go up, and Mista attacking just at the right time. The keep gets deleted. Has enough stone for another keep behind the palisade walls, but again, losing more villagers. We lost 66 in total now, and that's looking rough for puppypaw. He's very behind on economy, very behind on military. Slowly but surely, Mista breaking his way through. Just got some great raiding. I can't help but think this massacre here in the north is a defining moment in this game. And it could just end up with one big push. He's going to head forward northwards with the Mustafadi warriors. Maybe he'll stealth his way through again. That one keep is probably what stands in Mista's way of victory. Oh, villagers on that stone mine. He has to back away. He keeps there, but yeah, he can't afford to lose these villagers as well. The Mustafadi warriors coming in. The elite Mustafadi warriors. A lot of them are stealth as well. It just doesn't give puppypaw the good read on the fight, and does lose a lot of military. Lost even more villagers. Now the rams coming in the middle. Trying to break through in the north, but won't manage it this time in the north. Here's a big fight potentially here. Springwall needs to engage against the mangonel. Doesn't just quite yet. Does have some cannon emplacements coming in on the tile outpost. They've got full control of the gold in the south. And no real way for puppypaw to get the gold in the north part of that mid-basin. There's a big engagement here with the javelin throws focusing on the Streltsy. The Streltsy are going to start to melt with those numbers. And he is struggling here, puppypaw. Is their way back. There's a huge number of Musafadi warriors just to come in with their stealth. This could be the big fight we'd expect to see because things are starting to snowball. 77 military versus 43, and the Musafadi warriors, they're going to reveal themselves now. Try to cut off. They're going to just walk straight through. They're going to take out the siege. I think if the siege goes down, that will be curtains. A lot of them do go down to the Musafadi warriors, and well, that's going to take out the two mangonels. And well, puppypaw realizes the game is over. He taps out on basin. Well, the Mista coming in with a unit we don't often see for the Malians, the Musafadi warriors. He takes the win. Take care, and see you next time.